Welcome to the show. This is The Force Always. My name is Diz, aka David Zammit. Let's get on with the show with the news, views, reviews, and interviews. Making news. Well, there's no news, and that's good news. It's actually good news. No news is good news. Nothing to sort of squander about. But all I can say is my prediction, which is a news item that I'm going to create as a news item, is I think Mandalorian and Grogu, a proper full trailer. Well, even though the first one was a proper full trailer, the next one, I'm sure, in my prediction, will be coming out Christmas Day. So watch out, Christmas Day. Could be something, I don't know. It's just a guess. So that's my prediction. Maybe the only other news is that Darth Maul, Shadow Lord, is definitely coming out in 2026. It's an animated series on Darth Maul about him being in the underground of the Star Wars universe after Order 66. That's when the story will take place. And that's pretty much it with the news. Let's get on with the views. Views is my stories, ideas that I have with Star Wars. I accept the story for what it is. I accept Star Wars for what it is. From the start to finish of where it is, all the characters, everything I accept it. This is what's given to us. I get it. Obviously all of us, and including myself, would change things, but that's with everything. Everything. But this is Star Wars as it is. But anyway, my story idea is actually to do with Darth Maul. Back in the day of episode 1, which was 1999, I think it was, when it came out, we were introduced to this new villain, Darth Maul. And by the end of the film, which is a bit of a spoiler warning, he died. He got cut in half and fell down a sort of chute. Let's say, a big chute, a big open area. And personally, my story idea is that I would have had him not be cut in half, but injured and then hanging on to a lower level in this tunnel sort of thing, and then coming back to fight another day, obviously in the next film, which is Attack of the Clones. I would have had him live. I've got to admit, when I saw Darth Maul the first time, I was not, blown away by like a lot of other people. I thought it was great, but I just didn't go, oh wow, look at this is insanely good. I just thought it was another villain, and a very good villain, but I just didn't go crazy for it. But anyway, I think that's what I would have done, because that would have rhymed, because a lot of things in Star Wars rhymes. What do I mean by that? The story rhymes. Something that happens in episode 1 is similar to what happens in episode 4 and episode 7. Or the first parts of the trilogy, things rhyme. The second parts of the trilogies rhyme. The third parts of the trilogies rhyme, to a certain extent. And I thought, and I would have thought, to have Darth Maul sort of be down but not out would have been very similar to Vader, Darth Vader, that is, in episode 4, New Hope, but in a different sort of way. But not just because to rhyme, but to also have, a way of intrigue for the next episode. Because, back then, in the prequel area, the whole idea of it being in episode 1, episode 2, episode 3 was the big sort of heading on the actual title logo. And it was, it was never done like that in episode 4, episode 5, episode 6, which is Star Wars, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. It was a different approach for the prequels, sort of to announce to the world it was 1, 2, and 3, I suppose. But anyway, yeah, so going back to the whole story idea, I would have had him be injured in the fight, lightsaber duel they had at the end, then him hanging off at a lower edge in this big sort of tunnel thing, and then for him to fight another day in a future storyline in a next Star Wars movie, which would have been Attack of the Clones at that point. But it's not done. That's just my story idea. It wasn't done, and I accept the story for what it is, but that's what I would have done. I think having intrigue is important storytelling for the next thing in line, especially if it comes to TV. Anyway, let's get into reviews. That was views. Now let's get reviews. Because now we are technically past the 10-year anniversary for Force Awakens days ago. I thought I'd show you a pop figure I've got. I'm not big on the pop figures. I like them, but I'm from the original sort of, I like the classic figures, but I still buy every so often, collect some Funko Pops, I think they're Funko Pops, pop figures. And this one is the First Order Trooper. Now, I'm showing you this one. It's sort of technically a boring sort of Funko Pop in a way, but it is a collectible thing, because if you look closely, Funko Pops generally number the actual, the character. And this one got number 66. And if you're a hardcore Star Wars fan, Order 66 is a big deal in the storytelling of Star Wars. I just thought that was remarkable. Number 66, it's a, First Order Trooper. It was from the Force Awakens era. And obviously in the other episodes, 7, 8, and 9. Episodes 7, 8, and 9. And that's it. So I'll give this particular figure 8 out of 10. It's something that I like, but I don't love. It's just a figure, but I do love the design of the helmet, the modern version back then of when a stormtrooper sort of evolved and they became into this. I thought it was great as a design. Anyway, so that is my review, 8 out of 10 for the First Order Trooper, which is labeled number 66. It's like Order 66. It's amazing. If you know what I'm talking about, you got to be a hardcore Star Wars fan to know what I'm going on about. But anyway, let's get into interviews. Interviews is my comment section usually, and it's filled with anyone that would like to send me a comment. You can make a statement, ask a question. But while we're in this moment here, you can subscribe to the channel. This is the Force Awakens. I'm here 3 or 4 times a week. Giving you the news, views, reviews, sometimes a bit more with substance, but if there's, something going on with Star Wars, but at the moment it's in, sort of hovering mode. But anyway, let's get into the question. Michael from Werribee South, he's a big contributor to these questions. He loves asking questions. He's in a learning phase. I know this person, just to let you know. He's in a learning phase of Star Wars. He's an interested person in life. He likes to ask a lot of questions to learn a lot of things from me. Things that I won't even explain on the channel because it can get quite interesting. Anyway, so his first question by Michael from Werribee South is, what did Vader say before the iconic "No, I am your father" line to keep the twist secret during filming? Yeah, it was a famous thing that happened. It was a great idea from the director, George Lucas, to keep that secret. It just, if it happened today, it would be even more of a surprise. Back then, when this type of thing was happening, it was not like such a big deal. But today, I think it would be a much bigger deal. But what did Vader say before the iconic "No, I am your father" line to keep the twist secret during filming? Well, he actually got the actor to say on set, "No, I killed your father." So he was saying that to Luke Skywalker. So, but because Vader doesn't have a moving mouth, they edited in when they were doing the voiceover for Darth Vader. The only people, from what I can recall, that knew was Luke. It was Mark Hamill, James L. Jones, George Lucas, and Kirshner. I think that's the director's name of Empire Strikes Back. Anyway, so that was what was said. No, I killed your father was what was written in the script, but really it was meant to be, no, I am your father, and that was kept a secret. Great secret. Great point of the story of Star Wars as well. The next question by Michael from Werribee South is, besides Obi-Wan, who was the other powerful Force user Darth Vader feared losing to? Well, that's pretty obvious. I think every single person feared this person in the whole universe at that time. It was Emperor Palpatine. Emperor Palpatine, yes, was even feared by Darth Vader himself, even though I think he would have, taken it to him, and technically he did in Return of the Jedi. But yeah, besides Obi-Wan, he feared Emperor Palpatine. That's who Darth Vader feared. Now, the next question from Michael from Werribee South is, how did Grand Moff Tarkin know Vader was Anakin Skywalker? Well, he was the main guy that was in A New Hope. He was on the Death Star. He was orchestrating, the attack on the rebels. He was the balding type guy. Great Imperial superior leader. I thought it was great. He only sort of gathered, Grand Moff Tarkin gathered from observation of his fighting styles in certain ways. He only gathered that was Anakin Skywalker, because he technically was on Anakin Skywalker's side of assistance during the Clone Wars, and that was sort of seen through the Clone Wars animated series, if you really deep dive into that. Anyway, so the next question is again from Michael from Werribee South. Come on, please contest this, Michael from Werribee South. Give me a question, from someone else. It'd be great. Comment, whatever. Subscribe to the channel. Anyway, the next question is, how did Ahsoka Tano learn Vader was Anakin? Ahsoka Tano, again, was the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker. And during a bit of a duel with Darth Vader, she suspected, and she got to know by his helmet got damaged, and she could see him and just knew who that was. And so she got to know that was Anakin by a duel they had, and it was on the World Between Worlds. That's what it was. It really, sort of threw her to the side, the back, the front, and she was startled. My goodness, she was surprised. But anyway, that's how she got to know. The next question is, in which location did Vader and Luke have their first lightsaber duel? It was, straight to the point, Cloud City, where we all got to know Lando Calrissian for the first time. But yeah, Cloud City. It was actually a very, very nice looking scene. Really good. The next question that I have is, in which location... No, sorry. That was the last question by Michael from Werribee South. The next question is, what physical condition did Darth Vader suffer from due to his suit that required constant medical attention? Well, he was in all sorts. I don't think there's one point here that he needed to take care mainly of his skin. I mean, his skin got big time damage. He was more machine than man, as Obi-Wan Kenobi once said. He was just taking care of his body that was seriously destroyed by Obi-Wan in their sort of big fight on Mustafar. And so, yeah, he just needed constant medical attention, just keeping his body alive. And that's what it was. So, anyway, the next question: what specific promise did Emperor Palpatine make to Anakin that led to his transformation into Vader beyond just power? Well, it was actually I think Mike was asked this before, because it was to save his lady in life, the secret lady in life, Padme Amidala. He loved her and he wanted to have her live forever and to save her life, because he was having dreams that she was going to die in childbirth, and sort of in a funny way, strange way, it sort of turned out that way, sort of. But yeah, so that was the promise. Emperor Palpatine said, I will help you save your lady's life. Teach him how to do this. But, the Emperor was just manipulating left, right, and center, and he never did so because he didn't know his actual self. Anyway, so the next question, the last question from Michael from where was asked: on which planet was Anakin Skywalker born? Come on. This is Tatooine, with the binary sons, the two sons, twin sons, whatever you want to call it. That's where he was a slave, especially. That's where we got to first know Anakin as a slave on Tatooine. The answer is Tatooine. Anyway, the next comment, actually, it's a comment, and it's by Arkan Gaming. Arkan Gaming, I think that's how you pronounce it. Arkan Gaming. He's sent a comment saying, OMG dude, which I'm assuming is, oh my God. OMG dude, I hate the character of Rey. No. It's fair to say, we are all not always on the same page with Star Wars. I understand that Rey, she is not the greatest, she's not the greatest character ever, but, Arkan Gaming just doesn't like him, doesn't like her. And, I understand. You can only, agree to disagree here. There's nothing wrong with disliking the story, the characters, the whatever it is. It's just your version of events, and that's my version of events. Can be slightly different, can be completely different. But I think the best thing to really do, to really just capture your own imagination, is just let you, like Obi-Wan said in A New Hope, let yourself go with the Force. And I let myself go and let the story just guide me where it's going. It might be, in a good way, in a bad way, but that's the story of Star Wars. It's still, to me, to this day, a very interesting story. It's just got that sort of look, that feel, that sound that I love to this day. Maybe not as explosive as, when certain Star Wars episodes or on TV or movies hit, but it's still got it. For me, it's Star Wars. But for Arkan Gaming, he does not like Rey, and he said no. Fair to say, I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you, in agreeing that is your version. I understand, no problem. Anyway, that is the show for this time around. Now, I think the next show could be a Christmas, you could call it the Christmas holiday special, which is, let me tell you, if there's no, it's the Christmas holiday special by Star Wars. Ugh. That is one thing that gets I would say, a 0 or 1 out of 10 for me. It was the worst. But anyway, I'm ranting on. The next episode could be Christmas Day. That would be here in Melbourne, Australia. So you could be still on Christmas Eve on the other side of the world. I don't know. You could have passed it. I don't know. But anyway, until then, my friends, keep rock.